Be right back. Be right there. I'm coming. Wait, should we burn incense? Yes. Wait, I need a lighter. Okay. No, that looks weird. My head's not cut off, right? No. My head's not up here. My head's right here. I need to get a teapot. I said that in the last video. And I was gonna get one. I almost went to this shop by my house. Maybe I'll do, not today. Today I have to go to bed. Today I just have to be like basically resting the whole day and like get in bed at like dinner time because I have to work at 7 a.m. tomorrow. I took a gig at 7 a.m. Cause I don't really care. I don't really care. Time is like, I don't work more than 3 days a week at like out of my apartment. And so my time is just spent like mostly in a creative flow. And yeah, times, schedules, like days of the week, none of that really means very much to me. And on top of that, I have really become very like happy to just be able to like be at home, like not necessarily like sleeping, but in a sleep state, like a trance state, like an in between state. Just kind of like working on stuff and like a meditative state. Like my apartment is my sanctuary. So yeah, so the second video that I actually like had the idea to film was this video called Would I Care If My Parents Died? Because on my birthday, I got into, I wouldn't call it an argument. I bitched my mom out over text message and then talked to my biological father about it later. And in that conversation, I was sort of more honest about the mechanics or like, not the the mechanics necessarily, but like just about everything, like just about my perspective and my experience and my feelings about everything, and like how I've come to understand my parents, how I've come to look at them, how I've come to conceptualize our relationship / like lack of a relationship, like how I've made peace with them essentially being like figments of my imagination, because my father hasn't been in my life since I was 3 years old, and my mom is just like not like mentally or emotionally present. And so I was basically explaining to him that like, so I wasn't gonna talk about this in this video, like I can't quite decide if I wanted to get into it, because like I wasn't going to, because I am approaching my period and I am breathing. It's making me feel like really intense. And so I just felt tired. And I kind of like, I can like sum it up, but I felt like it would have been like a more interesting like long video. So yeah, maybe that'll be my third video. And this one, I don't have a plan for it. I'm tired. But I feel like clammy. Like it feels like the heat is like coming out like from the inside out. Like it's like I'm like secreting heat. I feel like for that parent video, I should be wearing the t-shirt dress that I was wearing in the first video, which was like, had like me as a kid and my mom pregnant with me on the bottom, which is a photo that I think my dad took. Yeah, that would make sense. So I feel like I should be wearing that. And I feel like there is more to elaborate on than what I just said. But like, I definitely feel like that's a question that a lot of us have asked ourselves, like if we're somewhat estranged from our parents or like, or our family in general. Like when my grandpa died, I didn't cry. I would definitely cry. I'm not saying like I wouldn't cry, but like I've asked that question to myself, like would I care, like how would I care? And there were times in my life where I felt like I wouldn't. But I have developed sort of like it has like a spiritual purpose, the way I view it, because like a big part of my spirituality has been like confronting death and like deciding that it's like maybe not a big deal. So no, wait, something feels weird. Something feels weird. I started working in a sketchbook. I'll show you that. That's what I'll do.
Oh God.
So I like mixed media paintings, works. I mean, so this is technically mixed media. This is paint and oil pastel. And I don't like anything, I mean, personally, I don't like anything that is just like paint. Like, if I'm making it, I always feel the urge to add something else to it. At least oil pastel. But I also really like to like collage stuff, and like I've always collected journals and like papers, and I've always kept a lot of stuff. Like I'm like an archiver. And so I really am into the idea of like developing a really strong, cozy, like warm feeling mixed media practice for myself. Maybe I can show you some books too, like of stuff that I really like, I can think of. So I'll grab my sketchbook, and then I'll also grab like this and this. Maybe this? Wait, what is this book? Oh no, that's weird photography. Okay. Okay. But I've experienced a lot of blocks with visual work. So I originally started as a photographer, and photography is a very comfortable thing for neurotic people, I feel like, or people who are not like, who are like closed off, because you don't have to like access very much of your own soul. You don't have to like bear very much of your own soul to simply like snap something that's in front of you. Whereas paint, like blank stuff, you have to really like put something there. Like it's not like you're going out in the world and you're like finding things that are already beautiful. You have to like make something that's beautiful. So that is part of like, there's so much, I feel like there's just so much medicine for me in this practice, because but since I've been experiencing blocks, and I do have like multiple blank sketchbooks here, so I decided like, let's like, instead of like taking these like canvases or these like, I have like a lot of small canvases and papers and stuff, instead of like taking all this stuff and trying to make something like a finished product right now, let's like, exercise some concepts and like mood boards and stuff like just in here, like, because sometimes I just want to like collect one thing, and I just want to like just be like, I like this, and like stick it there, and I might not necessarily have that same like confidence about like a finished product. But if it's a sketchbook, I can just take something and just decide that it's important and like put it in here, and then that little like artifact that I've preserved might end up being like an inspiration or a light bulb for a whole concept, or like a whole avenue to go down. Like, I'm gonna make a bunch of work centered around this thing I found, or like centered around this concept, or like that includes this somehow. So like, for example, so how I started this sketchbook is I drew Well, I did some like this stuff in the beginning. Just some drawing, just some like stuff I've been doing lately. And then I took some old, you'll see, some old things and kind of tried to establish like a base. I think that I'm going to, hold on. Never mind. We're at 12 minutes. We're going to keep going. Okay. So, this page is the only page preserved from a notebook that I burned after I broke up with the second person I ever dated, and it was just like all kinds of triggering and awakening, and I had to include this in here. These pages are scans from my high school journal that are a little sad, but like I was very intentional with what I included because these both have like kind of like awakening energy. I'm not going to read them. Maybe I'll read them in the next video or the fourth video, depending on. Okay, so I figured out that this just goes in like half-hour intervals. So this is going to be like a very cut-up video for a lot of reasons. But let's just continue this, and I will probably show this notebook like other times, more times. So I'm not that worried about this being like a weird video. So, yeah, I am establishing a foundation. So these were like, I already talked about those. This was more, this is again from a high school journal. And this is in here because I just feel like this, again, was like a moment of awakening. For me, this was like when I started, like this time era period was like when, I mean, this is when I started like stirring shit up for fun, I feel like. Well, this is just when I just realized like that I'm like powerful, that I exist, I can affect things. And yeah, so this is like a receipt sheet. Like it's like, I really liked finding like during certain periods of my life, like when I wasn't really making art and all I was doing was kind of like going to bars and like writing in a journal sometimes and like taking phone photos. I really enjoyed like the different types of paper that I would find. Like that became a good art form, was like deciding that I really identified with like this long, you know, sheet of paper, because like you can't buy this anywhere. You can't I mean, you can. I can buy a receipt roll actually, which actually maybe I'll do that. That's actually kind of like a cool thing to use. But yeah, it just was special. And so this just says, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid, like over and over again. And increasingly more unhinged writing. Again, feels like an awakening moment. This is all just like stuff that's like still resonating with me. This is from Tracy Emin's, like when she put her bed in the museum, her depression bed in the museum. And this is a passport photo that I never used, where I'm very, very depressed. So, okay, hold on. Actually, wait, these are photo booth strips. There's some nudity there. We'll just go to the next page. These were old ones from Europe. There's more here. Just ones that felt like still applicable to me. sometimes I would sit in photo booths for like, just like, I would just do like the same thing over and over again until I felt like I don't know, until I felt like the emotion had been captured, I think is what it was. This is my parents. I'm extremely sweaty. Hold on. These are like the two cutest photos I think I have of my parents, and I feel like this captures like probably how the relationship like seemed like it was gonna be. This was like sort of the innocentness of this very like teenager dynamic. So I put that in there because I think that's important, like to know that like that's an aspect of like who they were. This is sort of like romantic, idealized people who do definitely like genuinely love each other, but like more as like friends than like compatible. These are recent photo booth strips, so I wanted to put those in there because they feel the most like me now. Some photos from Europe. These were like big pieces that I did like during a weird time in my life where I was just spent a lot of time like in my room, like in the dark. Like I was very much like a night person, and I remember doing this kind of stuff like in this dark room, like by like candlelight. So it's very like scrawled, like more so than anything I would do now. Like now I still kind of do this stuff, but like it's always like more smooth. I mean, this is not, but like it's like smooth. It's like design focused, like kind of more with a spray paint. Some writing. This says, "Holding back has done nothing but kill me." This says, "No fantasy, confront things." I had like this again with this like with the unique pieces of paper. This was from like this pad that I stole from a bar. Again, I just was like, it was just this blank pad, like it didn't have like a cover on it or anything. But I was just like, that's so cute. Like I don't see like minimalist stationery usually. So if I see it, I'm like, I need that because it's very like aesthetically pleasing. And both of these things, again, feel like awakening vibes. This is something recent that I wrote that says, "Heavy and open-hearted." I don't remember why I wrote that. I don't remember. Probably just like kind of relishing in the fact that like I still feel like in a lot of ways like heavy and not well, but that like I'm still, but I've developed this new capacity to like sit with it more and like not close down, like not shut down my heart, not shut down my feelings, and that felt magical. So I think that's probably what it was about. This is like, okay, so this was just like, this is sick because like this is why I'm excited for like a sketchbook, because this is just like some cool fabric that I found, and I feel like this is really, this is the last one I think. These are drawings of some like flowers that I have over there, just outlines. Fabric really inspires me, plants really inspire me, and I'm sure I've seen some paintings or like mixed media works that like have fabric included in it, and maybe that's why I liked it. But I also feel like I've like fabric, like it has this really interesting I don't know. I feel like I'll be able to use this, incorporate this, definitely, but I was like, again, I don't feel ready to like start sticking fabric onto canvas, like this kind of stuff, like this was something else before, like it was, you can't really see, but like everything underneath the white here was like, there was like more of this. It just started as like scribbles and then became like, so like when it's just stuff like this, I feel like it's easier for me to like just like layer stuff on top of it and like turn it into something else. I don't know. I think this is just a good like kind of thing to establish. And so like this guy, it's kind of collagey, but like, so I had no idea who this guy was. I just found this book. I just was really drawn to like the text here, and I love finding like really nice books and like people's work, and just like being like, wow, like I didn't know that like this kind of stuff existed, like and is being like respected enough to warrant like making a very nice quality book like this. It makes me extremely happy to see, there's a lot of nudity in here, so I will try to find something that's not. But he takes all of these like old, I'll give you an example. So he just takes, it's all of this kind of stuff, like old film photos. And making sure there's no nudity. And these are clearly all like prints that he made. And then, so it's interesting. This guy's from Russia. And so it's all like this whole book it's like just life in Russia, but it seems like there's a lot of like, maybe there's a lot of political stuff going on at the time, because it's just, this book is like protests and like politics and like people on the street, and then also just like his family life and like tons of nudity, and weird shit, and like his family and stuff. Did I say that? So these two photos are really beautiful. I don't know how it's gonna show up there, but so yeah, and I just really like, you can see like the tape marks. Let me see if I can find a better one. You can see like the tape marks. So it's like a scrapbook, like he clearly, and like this shit makes me happy, because like you could have also done this book a different way, where you like scanned each individual photo and then like, you know, perfected it and then laid it out, like laid it out in this book. I can show you this, because this is actually a really beautiful spread. And I can show you this. Like, so it's like, it's almost like he had like his own sketchbook, and just like, he clearly printed this stuff in the darkroom, which I used to do. I miss that a lot. And then just like taped it in, you know, it's not like you like scanned this in and then cropped it right here and then like edited it all nice, like made sure it had like perfect contrast. Like you can see this is imperfect. This is very much like a darkroom vibe. It's like stuck in here, so it feels like you can see like, I don't know. I mean, it was an intentional choice, but I really, really prefer this, because I feel like this kind of shows like what art making and like what this process is like really about, which is like this very like intimate kind of nostalgic like scrapbook, like collecting energy. And then sometimes I'll like draw, like paint on stuff on top of stuff. I think this page is like really a good, yeah. So I'm really inspired by stuff like this, and I want to like have this kind of incorporated with stuff like this. is like kind of my vision. And this is Eva Hess. Let's see, like, she does like a range of stuff, but like, she does some kind of scrapbooky stuff. Like first of all, I like this. I like the scribble stuff. You can see like she like cut something out and like stuck it so that it's like coming off the page here. More. This is actually a really, really good idea. So she's like, this kind of reminds me of this page in my notebook actually, where it's just the same kind. I mean, like, it makes me feel like, oh yeah, okay, like I can do that. Like, because so she cut. This looks like it could have been. I really like the like messiness of like everything she does. Like I wonder where these like shapes come from. But this almost looks like it was like an even bigger thing, kind of like this, and she like cut it and put them together to make like kind of like this puzzle. And so like, yeah, it's just stuff that feels like something you did in like a second. Like you did like kind of like just to like clear an urge or to like just like so you don't forget something. That's the kind of stuff that I like to hold on to and be like, this means something. Like let's like really, like, you know, you write something on a napkin or like you draw something on a napkin. Like I actually think I wrote something on an envelope once because it was the only paper I had around, and I kept it like because it's like it's an art piece now. Like I just really thought I just this is really interesting and cool. The geometric stuff is really fascinating to me. Like I'd never thought about doing this, but like I actually feel really inspired to incorporate some kind of like really technical like look like this, because I actually used to really, really like math, and so it wouldn't even be like, so like anyway, I'll see how that marinates. But yeah, she does a lot of cool shit. She does okay, so this is cool. Like this is all just, I'm just gonna leave it up on this page. Like this is the vibe. And then actually the book that this is sitting on right now is a Marina Abramovich book, which is not like she's not a painter, but she's a spiritualist, like performance artist, and that is my other personality. So like if I can combine everything together into like one mixed media practice, or like one I'll just call my whole practice like a mixed media practice, then that would be cool. And I think that this, as well as the notebooks, are gonna really, really, really help me like mood board everything and like world build how I want it to feel. And actually, maybe I also wrote I wrote a list. I wrote a list of words of how I wanted my paintings to feel. So maybe I'll read that. Are we still recording? Okay. This is pretty long though. I'll just read that, and that'll be the last thing I did. Okay, so yeah, because I know like I like know the vibe, but I just was like, I have a hard time like doing it because this is just like not really my ballpark. This is the final. This is the finale. How do I want my paintings to feel / look? Settled, correct, serene, soft, honest, textured, warm, simple, like a secret, nostalgic, cozy, cute, spiritual, open, vast, free, pure, messy, non-linear, alive, divine, like a poem, like a feeling, like a memory, like a place, like the moon, like the sun, like a star, like a plant, like fog, like fog, like fog, like a rain. I was really into that idea, clearly. Like a raindrop, like a cup of tea, like my hands, like a stick and poke, like a sunset, like a sunrise, like a piece of wire, like a candle, like a mirror, like a spoon, like silk, like a lamp, like light, like a flower, like a stuffed animal, like a window, like a fairy, like my skin, like juice, like my desire, like flushed heat, like presence, like energy, like an analog photograph, like soil, like breath, like nothing, like everything, like soft clothing, like a feather comforter, like a cat, like the night, like the morning, like my voice, like taking a photo, like singing, like dancing, like rain, like humming, like screaming, like groaning, like sleeping, like sobbing, like rest, like vibrations, like a hug, like vibrating, like a comfy shirt, like a walk, like a silent forest, like a puddle, like a wildflower, like a string of pearls, like a bath, salt rubbed, wet, turned on, sensual, sexy, powerful, ethereal, magic, awe-inspiring, meditative, peaceful, balanced, still, fleeting, liminal, glowy, private, observant, collected, like research, like found art, intuitive, psychic, feminine, dense, swollen, awakening, remembering, like an artifact, that one like really, or like it contains artifacts, swirling, spiraling, like my soul, like a single cell, like love, like passion, like sex, like life, like enlightenment, like rebirth, like rice, like dust, like death, like a doorway, like a portal, like a baby, and like wisdom. And that's just where I stopped. I'm sure that will be added to.